our original idea was to actually put a little panel heater in, wasn't it? Because that was just going to be the cheapest quick fix option to get something in there, and it was going to be a lot cheaper. But we worked out the running costs, and in about, was it 3 years? 2 years, the cost of running a panel heater, we could have used that to pay for an air conditioning unit. It's going to be well insulated, so the cost of running a heat pump is going to be minimal. Plus there's also the fact that Clint's been doing up an old air conditioning unit, which is ready to sell. We're going to use the proceeds of selling that to buy a smaller heat pump appropriate for this sleep out. So, you know, we got ways and means of getting the funds for it, with Clint being in the trade.
I'm going to put in a 2.5 kilowatt heat pump, and it's going to be 3/8 and 1/4 inch pipe. I used to do these pre-pipes every other day, and I do them a lot differently to a lot of other people. A lot of people just use flexi drain. I won't use just flexi drain. I'll actually prefer to use solid, because then if you're using on cooling a lot, quite often flexi drain will actually get molded and block up, and then you just can't get rid of it. So I like to use solid, so if I have to come back a year or two later, I can blow it out and it's easily done. And plus there's no ridges in what I use, so it doesn't sort of seem to grow in there. So if it was a bigger heat pump, it would be about 900 to a metre long. So I found the centre of where I want my heat pump, and I'm going to go 400, that's the edge there. I'm going to go about 350 from the centre, that's where I'm going to have my drain, and I'm going to coming out from below, and from the pipes if you can always pump it, but pumps are really expensive. I can't get them cheap, so yeah, you don't want to use a pump if you can help it. So this is how I would get my fall on my pipe and get around the edges. So let's do that now. So I'm going to mark out this. Just want just a little bit down bubble, doesn't have to be much.
Oh, just so moisture drains kind of thing, is it?
Just so moisture drains.
Right.
And by keeping it like this, it's easier to feed through. Now in reality, what I'm doing here is really just to make my life easier. Like if I'm doing a run that's 2 or 3, I'm putting in 2 or 3 lengths. And when I slide the pipe in, it's just so much easier to do it that way. With that, I was officially out of battery. Always very careful, especially if you're doing it for someone else, because this glue don't come off. I don't like a thing unglued. Guess what? I'm not going to want to.
Do we have to chop that elbow down a bit?
I might do like this. Notch that out. Sometimes it's really cold, this pipe likes to split, so rub it a little bit with your hands, and sometimes it helps stop the splitting. Or you can cut it with a saw, that also helps too, but that just worked for me just then. Right, this is the drain that a lot of the guys use for the whole thing. I personally don't use it for the whole thing. I only use it for connecting onto the actual high wall itself, the drain. And I've been to a couple lately. Ooh, I was an angry boy.
Were you?
whoever did the pre-pipe and this off.
Language.
Sorry.
This is a family channel.
Makes me very angry. They get this wide bell bit and they just push it in there loose as a goose like that. And then they wrap tape around it. What happens is it sits in the wall, the tape all peels off, and then the drain blocks up. And then I go to blow it out and it goes boom! It's somewhere down inside the wall.
And you don't know where it is.
I can't get my hand to it. I have to cut a hole in the wall to put the drain back on. Or I have to put a $400 pump on it, and that just makes me angry.
It makes you want to say naughty words.
Yes, constantly. So this is what I do. I get my reamer, or something like it. See?
Reamer.
And see that edge there will not fit. It will fit, but not very well. What I do is I ream this out.
Just gets rid of a little layer, doesn't it?
Just makes it easy. Well, the glue will actually melt it down, but it just makes it easier to push. A little bit of glue there. Oh, by the way, if you have any cuts on your hands, this glue will find it.
But like a lemon.
Bit like antiseptic cream. Yeah, everyone seems to be using in these times. You just go push, and that's it. Done. It will never come off. Love it. And then through the ceiling, down through here, and onto there like so. 400 from the surface, so our pipe should be there. Right, until we put the wrap on, that's us done for the pre-pipe. Now the building paper's up, the roof is on, so we've done the hard. You see, because we've got the building paper and everything on outside, so it would have been hard to get that corner in. So that's why we did it before we put the paper on. I might only have just enough just to get outside of old pipe that I've had sitting around for years. I do have a brand new roll, but I don't want to open it, so I'm going to try my luck. Now, when you do this, one of the first things that you do is you have your penetration outside. This is what I use for my penetration, and you see it's cut on a slant like that, so I can always get my angle right, like that. So what I do is I measure up 400 from the plate, from the ground up. That there's going to be the centre of where I put the hole. Now I'm going to put that there through to keep my angle true like that, and get this marker pen. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to cut that there out like that. You can use a hacksaw, which is what I used to do, but now I'm really lazy. So I managed to afford to buy power tools, and so now I'm just going to use an angle grinder. And you notice I've kept that piece there on and that piece there on, because if you cut it right to that lip and you cut that right out, it's actually as weak as. So that there just keeps a bit of strength in it. Right, now I'm not going to tick screw it, I'm going to screw it in. This. Oops. 1. 3 is probably all you're going to need. I'm going to cut a hole just over here. Just a little cross, and this is going to be for our power cable. Now if I'm really clever, I might actually be able to get 3 cables out through here. So this here is for our isolation switch. Right, that should go nowhere. 110 mils off. 110. 110, and the reason I'm doing 110 all the way through is because if you ping a nail through there, I'm going to drill a 55mm hole through. I'm going to easily miss any nails. And I'm going to go here, I'm going to go across at 100 and across at 140. And I'm going to drill out those 2 holes closer to the centre here. Now if I was doing 5/8 and 3/8 or something, I'd actually drill one hole in line with all these. I'd move it 120 and drill another 35mm hole. Just because it's real hard, you have to separate them, but I've spoken to the builder. He said it's okay for me to do it the old fashioned way and cut a slot and not have two separate holes, and that makes it a lot easier for me to run the pipes. So, okay, now let's just quickly do this one here. And we're going to do the same just here. I'm going to get my knife, and this is where the drain comes through. So just put a block down here so it's raised off the floor, so it doesn't go through the plastic shield which is down here. So I'm just going to just do a nice little cross there, and then when I get this and this, I'm just going to do it all by eye because I'm lazy. When it's cold, we have used an iron on this stuff before, and I normally use my gas torch to seal
Depending
it.
on the fire hazard, I suppose.
Depending on the fire hazard of the day. Yeah. I'll put the bottom one on first, and you see I just get a little bit of lip over it, so it seals around there like that. So what we'll do is we'll probably bend it around like that underneath the thing, and have the isolator for the wall there, and the edge of the unit will be here, and then right here I'll run a third wire through here, and we'll have a plug, just an outside weatherproof plug.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We're going to nails every hammer hold to run the cables.
Ah,
So
right.
we run the cables under the ceiling like so. Every 300mm or every 10 inches, which is basically the length of your hammer. But I haven't seen a Sparky do that for 25 years. Now what they do is they just put the nails in at a slight angle, then put all the cables on top, and then bend the nails over. I personally prefer the cable clip things, but I don't have any cable clips. I figured, well, this is the industry standard. Here's a 55mm hole saw. Some people like using a bar. I don't. Low speed drill. And see that line there? I'm going to make it so it just catches and runs down. Right, that's one. And because I'm drilling above my head, I put my glasses on. Should be it. You can still run from this off.
I believe you.
We want the centre of our pipes. It's 400. So 350, or we'll say 330. Centre, we're going to mark a line there. And we're going to mark a line at 330 here. That's 400, that's the centre of our pipes. What we do is we get a bit of simple fits. Now for reasons, so this will come apparent later why I'm doing this. Got 7 meters of pipe. It's going to be close. Right, what I normally do is get some 40mm tape, just to help it go through the hole a little bit easier, and just crunch this first little bit up.
just contracts it down a little bit.
Yeah, just so it, the wood doesn't catch on the pipes and it doesn't tear it, because if you tear it, it can leak, and you don't want leaking in the roof. It will be just enough. Dun 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 dun. Just going to split these up to about there. I'm going to cut this one here. Like that. I'm going to get my pipe cutters, like so. Very old school. I'm going to put my benders on it. So it's there at the 400 mark. And we're going to go hard bend.
Oh, so it stops the pipe from kinking.
Stop the pipe from kinking, yeah. Like so. And then we're going to take that off. Right, that's that one there. I'm going to cut that about there. This one's quarter, I can just hand bend that one, baby. Oh yeah. Right, I'm going to cut that one there. This is just to stop rubbish getting in the pipes. Right, I'm going to take that joint up so the insulation doesn't move. Just see where I've joined it here. Right there, so it's going to go like that. I'm just going to put it there. Right, let me just go and get a cloth. Now what we do is we get these cable ties here, and see we might line up with this hole here. So we poke one through this side, and we go around, and we cable tie this on. This is so the jibbers don't push it too far to one side, so we can always have our pipe centre. It's a real hassle if you have to move them up or down, which you can do a little bit of. You can just cut up a bit of the stuff, because I've had it where they've pushed it aside about 300 mils, and there's no way of being able to bring it across without having to cut holes and rejig. So by doing this, they can't. What's the word?
Move it.
They can't. Well, they can move it. They just can't move it very easily. 1/4 inch access port with a Schroeder valve in it, and here's a take the Schroeder valve out so it doesn't melt, and we'll heat it up and weld it. Now the reason why I have this 550 long is quite often if you have them longer, well even if you have them short, builders and particularly brickies, if there's a brickwork here, there'd be enough, the bricks would come out to about here, and quite often the brickies will just bend them out of the way and they'll kink the pipes, which means I have to cut and join them. And so by having it sticking out this far, there's no way that they can easily bend that pipes without being blatantly excessively malicious. So it's just, this is just so our pipes don't get bent, so I can come along and flare them off and stick them to the units, or I can, if it's a bit too short, there's still enough for me to cut the weld on without getting the flame anywhere near the inside of the building paper. Right, putting the high pressure gauge on. I don't trust these anymore. I've had these for, I think, before I met you. So we're going to put 450 psi pressure in here, and the reason for this is A, keep the pipes clean, and should anyone, and we are our own jibbers so it shouldn't be a problem, but I have had them put screws and stuff through it, and then we've tried to gas them up, and there's been we've had gas leaks. It's never pulled it back, and we ended up having to cut the walls open. So what we do is we stick 450 psi, or about 465 from the looks of this. See about there? And what happens is if someone, probably Keith, puts a screw through it, he's going to get a good fright. And it should go, and it should be, or it should be enough to make him think, oops, there's something wrong here. And so before it's all painted, plastered and finished, we can fix it. Yeah. So it doesn't leak out. There goes the seal. Done. This is 1.5mm 4-core in earth. 3-core in earth, sorry. There.
And you can tell Clint is a real tradie because I'm having to do some really strategic camera angles, so I'm not constantly filming his undies.
That's going to be ample enough to go wherever we need to go. Ready to go. So it should be the centre of our hole. The unit, bottom of the unit should be about there.
So that's where the electrical board will be. I reckon we'll have enough.
I think it's going to be close. Yes, we're going to have just enough.
Yes.
And then we're going to write with our marker pen, to board for power. Go all the way.
Oh, so let's see that tubey.
Go all the way through that tube. Oh, just by the skin of our teeth. Always have a little bit more than you need because you never know what's going to happen. Right, and we're going to go 2 unit. Alright. I'm going to pop this one here. All the way. Like that. Boom, done. We might even be able to get one more cable in there for a power socket. Because quite often you come back and you'll find they've put something there like a drain that you didn't see there before. You have to move it over a little bit. So I know it's not going to happen with this one, but it's just force of habit.
Yeah.
So if I have to move it that way or that way down the house, I've got a bit of excess, so I don't have to stick joiners in. It just makes and all I have to do is just add a bit of extra pipe. Normally the pipe comes out to about here, where I want it to finish, and normally I'd take all this to the pipe, which I will still attempt to do.
Okay.
But that's how I do a pre-pipe for a domestic unit. Now we've got our power cable comes from the board down here through here, and then I've cut it in 2 and it comes out and it loops down here and goes back out to provide power to the unit. This is what it should look like when it's all bundled up nicely in the house. And that there is, so I've done that loop there so the pipe is pressurised all the way to the end.
And we've done all the electrical cables, and the electrical board is going to be over there somewhere.
Like, comment and subscribe, and if you need to know anything, flick us a question, we'll see what we can do.